Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to
Yay!
the Hood Podcast. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Thank you. We've had a great week. So this week we have a special guest with us, Mike from Cerakure. You guys know last week we had War Paint Customs on, and that was kind of like the first kind of introduction we have into this Cerakoting world. So Mike's here to fill in the blanks, right? So thank you so much for joining us, Mike. You want to go ahead and
Yeah,
introduce yourself, please? Yeah, floor is
yeah,
yours.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm more the equipment side of the Cerakode industry than the actual applicator. I've got applicators on staff, but um, for the most part, we make ovens to cure Cerakode. So
Hmm.
yeah, I know you guys had a few questions. I listened to a few of it, last week with War Paint, and
Hmm.
yeah, just hopefully we can get the Cerakote kind of straightened out for your listeners, like
Yeah,
kind of understand what all's going on.
yeah.
All
Last
right.
podcast it was pretty goofy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
Dude, it's that's talk about that's just painters, man. Like painters love dicks. I don't even. I'll be honest. Like, I don't even go eat with Cerakote applicators anymore. I took I took one to eat, dude. We went and got hot dogs. He kept kissing a tip before he took a bite.
That's
dude,
when you know how to
you
treat
remember,
it.
yeah, right? You remember on remember 21? No, remember what was that movie? Super Bad when he's like, I can't stop drawing pictures of dicks.
Yeah,
I couldn't touch a pen to a piece of paper without it drawing the shape of a
Yep.
It's an addiction.
yeah. But yeah,
I
man.
guess it's a
So
real thing, right? I thought it was just comedy.
Nah,
yeah,
man.
it's a real deal. Um, But yeah, so if you guys want to check out, we have Cerakure, spelled just like on Mike's hoodie, Cerakure. You can check him out on TikTok at Cerakure. And then his website, of course, here is cerakure.com. So, but yeah,
It's all in the description.
yes, sir. And as always, you can find us on Spotify, uh, Amazon, Apple, and iHeartRadio, as well as TikTok,
Every
Instagram,
motherfucking word.
Oh yeah.
and pretty much
And now
X.
on Kick.
X.
Holy shit.
Right? A long time ago, we were on Twitch for like a very brief period of time.
Very short period of
They
time.
wanted none of that. So anyway,
Well,
Yeah,
hold on up, guys.
I had a Twitch back in the day where I literally just let people watch me like learn to play piano. Like I was like, oh, these video game guys are gonna love listen to music. Yeah, no.
did it give? Do you have your stream summary from your last stream that you ever did on Twitch?
Oh, I have no idea. That was like
It was
five.
a
That
while
was
ago.
Yeah, it was 5 computers ago.
Yeah, these things don't last very long. Like
No.
the MacBook here, it's supposed to be like the best of the best, and it's already fucking up. It's only 2 years old. Apple
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, well, I will say our technology lasts forever. Our ovens are rated for 20 years. So of
Mhm.
use.
So go into it a little bit. Like explain the process of making it, and then especially your heating element, because you said it's gonna last for 20 years.
Yeah. So our element is it's catalytic infrared.
Hmm.
Um, Probably shouldn't say this publicly, but it's just platinum. It's platinum that when you mist gas onto when it's hot,
Hmm.
it creates IR waves. And what we've done is we've developed a technology that allows you to control those wavelengths. So
Hmm.
each coating has a different chemical makeup. That coating is then cured by those chemicals cross linking together. Our technology, what it does is those waves stimulate the coating faster to make it cure in 20 minutes, where
Damn.
when you use hot air, Cerakote normally cures in 2 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Damn. How
So,
long did
Is
it
it
take y'all to
always?
figure that out? I'm sorry, Josh.
yeah. Well, I've worked with the technology for about 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What
um,
other?
but figuring out Cerakote part, we did probably about 3 months of R&D
Hmm.
dialing it. Yeah.
What other applications could you use it on?
Oh, we use everything. So I started when I first started using this technology is when I worked for the robotics company and we were curing paint on like cabinet doors and
Mm-hmm.
like kitchen cabinets, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing solvent based paint, water based paint. We actually have a powder coat version of our
Hmm.
oven.
Mm.
Um, and then I'm under NDA on a few others, so I can't say, but there's a very big opportunity for us to do a different coating. And
Ooh.
we actually just got confirmation that they shipped us some samples, so we're going to start development on that pretty soon.
Wow.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I have a
especially,
question. Yep. Go ahead.
see, no, I was gonna say, especially if you could cut down the process by
Mhm.
100%. You know what I
Right.
Oh,
mean?
right. Well, okay. So Cerakote, the high temp. Now, all right. I guess we should start with what Cerakote is and what it does and
Mhm.
Yeah.
all of that first, because that'll make the rest of this sound are much easier to understand. So Cerakote is a ceramic coating, and it's very thin when it goes on the piece. So trying to find something that's not a gun that's Cerakoted in here.
No,
Uh,
you could show it.
Yeah, you're good.
okay, so all right, let me do this. Let me just take um, the slide off so I can kind of explain a little bit better, or I
No.
can hold it up and actually show.
Hmm.
Okay, just lower. So this was obviously black polymer to begin with. Um, Everything inside is now like an electric blue. Outside is battleship gray. So what this is it's applied wet. Um, Goes on very thin, scratch like you can't scratch. It's anti corrosive, and it bakes onto and becomes part of your actual weapon if you've cured it properly, or part of your substrate.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, so you were asking me before we went live, like, how do you get it to adhere? And our technology, what it does is it cures from the inside out. That's
Ooh.
also part of the reason why it's fast. So, what we do is we think of the curing process as 3 steps. So, the first step is to stick the coating directly to the substrate. That's the very first thing you have to do. Make sure that you're adhered properly to it. Second step is to get the moisture out. And the third step is to completely harden the top. And that's the process that I've done with every type of coating I've ever worked with. And it just works just the same with Cerakote. Um, Cerakote's applied with the HVLP gun. I actually have it here. So I'm going to flex a little bit. So
Hey.
this is the gold. Uh, This one actually belongs to Mohawk Gunner. I just haven't shipped it to him yet. Um, so that's the gold HVLP spray gun.
Nice.
Has like a .8 tip. It's just very. Cerakote does a really good job of training their guys on how to use the equipment that they sell. So they sell the Anesta Watos. They give them training on how to adjust the spray pattern, everything. So um, I know that no matter who I sell our oven to, they're all going to have a pretty consistent method of how they're applying.
Mhm.
As you can imagine, like the thicker the paint is, the longer it's going to take to cure. And pretty much every Cerakote guy follows the standard of like one wet mil of coating over the whole part. Um,
So what's a one wet mill?
so that's just the unit of measure for wet paint, like when you're
Mhm.
actually spraying. Like our house paint, you normally like when you spray robotic, you normally do about 4 wet mils.
Mhm.
Because and it also depends. Like again, this is getting probably way more technical than you guys want, but It also depends on like the percent of solids that are in. So every paint has solids and it has liquids. The solids are, your pigment, like if you have metal flake, things like that. So your percent of solids, you know, is going to determine how thick the is when it goes on.
Okay.
So anyway, I mean so there's kind of like the basics of what Cerakote is. I will say, like I've worked with probably every type of coating you can imagine, and Cerakote is probably top tier
Mm-hmm.
for everything except for the curing time, because with like your normal industrial paint, with my technology, we're curing that in about 3 minutes.
Dang,
Uh,
Jeez.
yeah, we're curing powder coat in 7.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
and but Cerakote, we've been able to get down to 20 minutes. The Now what we were talking about was the Cerakote that you see on polymer and like the upper on a piece. That's what Cerakote calls like their H series or their E series. They also make a C series, which is a very high temp coating, and that's an air dry. That takes 5 days to fully cure.
Mm.
We do it in 45 minutes. So
Jeez.
that's used for suppressors, for like exhaust manifolds on cars, brake calipers, etc. Um, so we've reduced that down. That's our 99% faster. That's the coating that we can claim that on. Um, the really cool thing is we're about to actually the suppressor that is on. I'm backwards. The suppressor that's
Yeah.
on this one, we're actually about to do a 3-color camo on it on that suppressor, which normally isn't done. Most suppressors you see are either black or FDE.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We're gonna actually do a 3-color when like a graphite
Yeah.
black, light gray, and an FDE camo. Because those are
Mm-hmm.
the 3 main colors that everybody uses. Just to show that we can do that entire process in 2 hours, where if that would have been done before with C series coating, it would have taken probably a week and a half to get
Mm-hmm.
done.
Jeez.
So,
Do they make a clear coat?
mhm.
Clear coat?
Yep. So I'm gonna pull one up. You got to pause YouTube or whatever.
That's
So
cool.
That,
this right here is the FX Gold by
Yeah.
Cerakure.
mm.
What that is it's a gold flake powder that you put into their high gloss clear.
That was going to be the next question I asked. Could you like put gold and silver? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, that's it. So yeah, this is the FX Gold, and they do like the color shift. They do
Mhm.
silver, copper, a bunch of them, a bunch
That's
of
your
different.
pimp gun.
Yeah, that's my. Not gonna go there. Nope.
Now that's the one shot kill, remember?
Hmm.
From
Yeah.
GoldenEye. If you
Yeah.
had the gold gun, it didn't matter where you hit them, they were dead.
Right. That's right.
How
Do
how
you
how how fast
other
can your oven cook a steak?
Um, well, well, it
Don't tempt
probably
me.
yeah, it's a little bit. I don't know. It's like a microwave. It ain't gonna be
Okay.
good.
Mhm.
It ain't gonna be good, man. I don't know. So like most people in our industry and in your industry, I've got a pretty like messed up sense of humor, and um, I had posted a meme on one of our social medias. I don't remember, and one of the guys commented, "It's like, how many bodies can you fit in that?" And like my business partner immediately like text and is like, "Don't answer, don't reply." Like, don't, because what my response was going to be was like probably only 2, but we're fast enough that you can cycle them through faster.
See, y'all could sell them to crematories, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what degree does it get inside?
So the air temperature really only sits about 180, but
Oh, okay.
that's just a side effect of the chemical reaction that's happening, because the element will get 750 degrees just
Mm.
from creating IR waves. So you get ambient heat coming through, but we don't use heat. Like we could set this element just on a wall and pointing at it, and it would still cure the coating without heating up anything.
Hmm.
So
Do you
and
use anything other than infrared, or have you like explored any of that stuff, like ultraviolet or
oh yeah,
any other
yep. So at when I worked for the automation company, I was my title was curing technology specialist, and so I was responsible for anything that was UV, anything that was convection, hot air, IR, catalytic IR. So yeah, I've worked with all different types of mediums for curing.
What is it possible to turn it into like a heat gun? Also, the technology.
Oh yeah, no. Well, here's what's awesome is um, catalytic IR attacks moisture. So you could, like, I could put one in my office here and just point it in my direction, and it'll only heat me up because of the moisture in my skin.
Hmm.
Like it'll
Crazy.
warm, yeah, it'll warm me up, but not the air around me. So the building will still be whatever temperature it is, but I'll feel warm.
That's
Shit, I
pretty
need to get
cool,
that
man.
I've
from my
heard
wife.
I've
Yeah.
heard of this
So I don't
kind of
sweat.
technology. I've heard about the like the military, or them using this kind of technology for crowd control. And it basically, the people, when they explain like what they felt when they were rioting, was like, my inside started cooking all of a sudden. Like I was inside of a
That
microwave.
smile, that
I
smile
was
makes me think it works.
We
I
can
was
neither
not a part of
confirm
that.
or deny. Yeah, we can't confirm or deny that.
I was no. I can
This is
100% confirm I
alleged.
was not a part of that.
Mm.
hmm I yeah, that's
I
not a
So basically,
reading about,
anything that would have moisture, that those rays would basically make it heat up.
yeah, yeah. So and one really cool thing is, so I was telling you earlier about cross linking.
Hmm.
That's like the actual, like the scientific term for cured. Um, and different coatings have different temperatures at which they'll cross link. So, like H series, it cross links at 250 degrees, whereas their Cerakote's V series, it cross links at 500 degrees. I could put both of those in wet at the same time. And the H series will stop heating up once it cross links, where the V
Oh
series will
shit,
continue to go. So
that's cool,
Yeah, this
yeah,
technology is crazy, man.
right?
yeah,
Hey, everybody that does this, buy the damn oven.
Right?
yeah.
Buy the oven. That's
Imagine
crazy.
how many of them you can pump out in one day,
Yeah,
man.
just
yeah. Oh
saving
yeah. So
time.
yeah. So ah, I'm, I was telling them before you got on, like I'm under NDA, so there's two
Oh,
companies that I can't
Yeah.
say who they are, but
yeah, don't get yourself in trouble on here, man.
uh, no, I'm definitely not gonna
Yeah.
disclose it. I'm just trying to think of how to phrase it without giving away. Um, so all right, hypothetically,
Mm.
our oven, like the cubic footage of our oven, could fit about 100. I think it's like 96 suppressors at a time,
Oh,
and
okay.
and our suppressors start to finish would be done in an hour, whereas before
Damn.
it would be 5 days.
Jeez.
So I mean that tells you the production increase. You're
Yeah.
going from probably six batches, so 600 a day from one oven to
Mhm.
like coming from you
Hmm.
know however many you could spray and just let them sit, and then 5 days later then you can package them.
And that would
Yeah.
make them cost less, also, man.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I'm tired of paying these prices. No, no suppressor companies have sent me a free sample yet.
Mm.
Well, hey, next week we have a suppressor company that's going to be on here, Ridgeback Defense.
Oh yeah.
So everybody tune in for that. Maybe
Mhm.
I'll say something to him, and maybe you guys could work together.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
that'd be
great.
great. Yeah, I think that the biggest breakthrough we've had was with like what will end up being a suppressor coating industry part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it sounds like you guys just like are just there to save time in this
Yeah.
industry.
well, it's not just time. I'm glad you brought that up because I always leave this part out, and it's probably the best part. Actually, today just put together a whole cost analysis of what our oven costs to operate.
Mm.
Um, yeah, we're 1/10 the cost of a traditional oven.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
um, our oven, the combined cost of the propane or the gas and the electricity is just a hair over $500 a year to
Huh.
operate.
What?
Dude,
Yeah,
well, that would make them cost less too.
what
yeah.
Yeah.
was the cost
So
of using the traditional oven to the
um,
one that the other?
so actually, I've got my Excel file right here. So if you do an all electric, you're looking at right around $4,500 a year.
Mm.
And if you had a gas oven, it'd be about 5,000 a year.
God. So
Yeah.
basically,
What
either
a
80% to 70%
Right.
savings.
what a crazy
Yeah.
shift.
Uh, do y'all plan on making them for like home use, like regular ovens too?
No, no, it's not really.
It's
I wouldn't
infrared.
I wouldn't put food in front of it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay.
I, I've heated up coffee, but not like food.
Maybe if you do it, you might glow in the dark.
Nah.
Be-
You'll
Become
get
Spider Man or
superpowers.
something.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean,
You'll,
I ain't gonna lie. I do feel a lot smarter now that I've got my own company, but I don't know. So, but yeah, you were asking me about Apollo, and I just want to say I can't say enough good things about those guys over there.
Mhm.
They they're one of the first ones that I reached out to once we kind of started I had the idea to make this a company where we were going to cater to gun companies, and just being that they're in North Carolina and I'm in North Carolina, it was really one of the first ones. And then we got to hang out a little bit at SHOT Show, and I've been up to their facility, and so it's they're good people and they put out great work. They're mass producing, so they're B2B. They don't sell to the public. They only sell to other gun shops. So they have their own brands in other stores.
Um,
right on.
and they just do Cerakoting.
They do Cerakote and laser work. So this is one of their pieces here. Like I was saying, this is my daughter's, but she's off to college, so it's in my safe for right now. But so that's all
Oh, that's
laser
cool.
work. Yeah, that's all
Right.
laser. So they Cerakoted first and then just lasered off what they
That's cool.
yeah.
Could you put Cerakote like a texture grip on something, or
Yeah. Yep. So Cerakote makes a super grip version. Yep. And you talking about like stippling for like
yeah,
pistol?
Yeah.
you know how like Gen 3 Glocks are kind of
Yep.
slick and everything.
So I'm gonna grab the Nerf one real quick. So
Yeah.
I just want to show you the grip on it. So
That thing
see
is
if that's what
awesome.
Yeah.
you're referring to. Hang on.
Yeah.
Guys, check out Mike Cerakure on TikTok. There you go, Cerakure at Cerakure
And Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah,
He could show more on Instagram.
Cerakure.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Instagram. Yeah. TikTok does not like when I show anything.
Nope.
So you see the grip.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a piece that we actually did at SHOT Show. So Parabellum Research Lab actually did all the stippling work for us.
Hmm.
Got the front, the sides, and then we Cerakoted over all their stippling
Hmm.
at SHOT Show. So, but
Dude, that's
yeah,
so cool.
Yeah.
thanks.
That
And
thing
then,
is awesome, man.
Nerf.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. YouTube, it's not a real gun, it's a Nerf gun.
It's a
Yeah.
paintball gun.
yep, it says nerd.
Oh.
Even better.
I didn't know if I'd get a cease and desist if I did the actual logo, but yeah.
Mm.
No, and
And-
I do want to say I can't take any credit for like any of the pieces that like I've shown you. That's the dragon. He Rock Bottom did all of these. I just call him up and I'm like, hey, I got this idea. And he's like, God dang it. And so
Another
yeah, well that's where I haven't shown him the he wasn't on here. So I noticed last week y'all were talking about a lot of dick camo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. So here's my cock block.
Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
Now it's a podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah, and
What's for you, Rob?
Hmm.
and so what happened was the dragon. He just traced his own on there, and it worked out great.
Is he Asian?
No, he is, he is about as country as you can get. Um, yeah, I remember. So there's 4 guys in the company. I was telling you, I do the engineering. I'm business owner. Jackie is my business partner, and he makes sure that we stay in line. Like all of our we have the proper insurance. We have like all our taxes are done, and he make sure he collects the payments because I don't want to do any of that at all. Um, and then Brian, he's our sales director. I poached him from American Tire Distributor, so he was leading those guys over there in sales for a while, and we've been best friends for like 25 years. And I was like, "Hey, I want to sell this. You like guns, and I like guns, so I hate selling. Why don't you come do this?" So he did, and then there's the Dragon. He owns Rock Bottom LLC. That's a Cerakure company. He does all kinds of custom stuff for people locally. So the 4 of us went, and we kind of had like some brainstorming stuff before we went, and kind of just I gave some. It's like, look, we can have a good time, but we got to stay a little bit professional. So here are our talking points and all that. And we got to the Dragon, and he's like, look, man, I'm just going to tell people I like to put paint on stuff, and that's it. He's just like, yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Mhm. And he's like, I like the blue. It tastes best. So,
Was he a Marine or something?
no,
Hoorah.
actually, I don't know if he was ever military. He kind of looks like it. Kinda, yeah.
Because I heard Marines like crayons.
Oh yeah, he wanted.
The pig.
So I was kind of joking around, like saying I need to have, like Cerakure has a certification. Like if you go take their class, you get Cerakure certified. I was like, kind of making a joke, like I need to have a certification so people, I know that people know how to use our technology and stuff. And he's like, yeah, you just need to like draw mine out in crayon. So maybe he was. I don't know. So
Hey, that's not a bad idea, actually. Making your own certification course.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say I'm hoping that, and maybe somebody from there will see it, and but I'm hoping to. We're making an oven right now for San Antonio Laser. It should ship out next week, and then we're getting their laser in, and I'm hoping that our oven becomes part of their curriculum because they offer a class on Cerakure, and so that's kind of my secret plan is to be like, hey, why don't you teach other people how to use our oven? So maybe that'll be a step in the right direction there.
Yeah.
So what's your
Smart.
turnaround time? Like, let's say I place an order. How long is it before it gets to me?
Right now, we're backed up 6 weeks. So
Oh, that's not bad.
no,
I thought you were going to say a year.
Yeah.
no. No, we got a pretty quick process.
Yeah.
We can put one together, start to finish, probably like 4 days or so. It's just the biggest weight is we have the elements manufactured in Kansas or North Carolina, and that normally takes us about 4 weeks to get those in from the time we order. And
Gotcha.
What sizes can you make them in the oven?
so the one that you see on our website and the one we took to the shot show, that's 4 foot by 3 foot is the footprint, and it's 4 foot tall. And
Mm-hmm.
then the we have that's called an LP1 because it
Mm-hmm.
has one element. We have an LP2, which is 4 by 4 by 6, and it has an element low and an element high that cross over each
Mm-hmm.
other.
Mm.
Um, and then we also do a la carte. So,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of industries require something like 20 foot long or 30 foot long to fit their parts in.
Mm-hmm.
We just all we do is I know what the cubic footage each element can have, and we calculate the cubic footage and then put
Mm-hmm.
the correct number of elements in for that.
Mm-hmm. Did
So,
did did you ever think about making one for like forging metal, like for blacksmiths and stuff? Your ovens?
well, it doesn't get hot. That's the thing. Like it isn't
I
going to
know,
get
but
hot. Yeah. Um, so prior to owning the business, I worked
uh
in curing. Prior to that, I worked in preventing heat from getting to things. I worked for thermal control products.
Hmm.
hmm
And then before that, I heat treated metal. So I've always been in that industry. So, I mean, but I saw the types of temperatures you needed to achieve with like heat treat and
hmm
with, so I mean, ours is very, very low temp, low energy.
hmm
Um, so I don't know if we would ever be able to get to what
Okay.
the forgers need to be at
I
to
was
get that.
yeah, I was just wondering if it could be possible. You know.
Yeah. Um, now, because once, I mean, if you're just trying to heat up, like that's one thing is like, so our oven is safe for electronics, for
hmm
plastic, for
Yeah.
metal, for carbon fiber. Like all of that can go in because we never heat up the part. If it's
Yeah.
not coating, if it's not paint or wet, it isn't going to
hmm
heat up.
I
Exactly. Yep.
got you.
Smart. Yep.
Mhm.
Would there be differences in like so you said that the molecular makeup of like the coating that you're putting on
Mhm.
it'll be different. So like the process to cure it might be different.
It
Um
is. Yep, exactly. So
is it
that's what all of our R&D has been on is finding the correct wavelength for those molecular structures.
but
So,
under it's all under infrared though, like you're just looking for the right
yep, yep,
frequency to okay.
exactly. So, um, our user interface has a drop down, and you literally just select what coding you're putting in, and the
Mhm.
wavelength auto changes to that
That's
coding.
Mm.
Yeah.
that's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah.
That's
And
cool.
So,
will it change per material? Like whatever material you're coating, does the frequency
so
change even for
oh,
like the same coating? Okay.
yep. So it just depends on what coating. Like, so say I couldn't put powder coat in at the same time I'm putting in like Cerakote because
Hmm.
Cerakote requires a different wavelength than what powder coat does.
hmm
So, but if I was putting, I can put plastic. I mean, like what you coat doesn't matter. It's just what
hmm
coating you have going in that matters.
Okay.
So,
Do
Gotcha.
Do
Gotcha.
you think Cerakote could replace like chrome lining inside of barrels?
okay, so the Cerakote has a slip finish that they use on pistons
hmm
now. So, I mean, that could be something. Now, it's so Cerakote does have a very high pencil hardness
hmm
score. I don't know if it's as high as what powder coat is or what
Hmm.
chrome would be,
hmm
but I would feel like if you tried to coat the inside of a barrel, it'd probably flake off overuse. Probably,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So, like, what temperature? Like when you Cerakote, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Was when you do this process, like, how do you keep the paint from flaking or bubbling? When you're shooting your firearm.
Oh, because that's one of the best parts about Cerakote is the temperature rating that it has.
Hmm.
So just regular Cerakote, like H series and E series, they're rated like up to like 550 degrees. before it'll have any kind of chemical or any kind of like structural breakdown.
Mhm.
The C series and the V, they're rated up to 1800 degrees. So that's how like they won't like have any kind of structural damage at all up to 1800 degrees. And
Wow.
actually one of the fun tests we got to do because we wanted to make sure that our process wasn't changing the coating at all.
Mm.
So we put some C series on a plate, put it in the oven, and then once it was cured, we just took a blowtorch and like a welding torch, and just the
Wow.
whole time got it like cherry red. Measured it at like it was like 1700 is what we got it up to, and immediately dunked it in water. And when you flip it over and look at the coating, you can't even tell it was hot.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. You watch some of their tests, like because they do a kiln that'll actually heat it up. They don't do open flame, but
Mm.
watching their tests, like seeing the metal heat up red under the coating and the coating stay perfectly intact is really
That's
cool to
crazy.
watch. Yeah.
That's cool.
That
Dude,
is
that is
cool.
pretty cool.
How do people figure this out? What I mean? I guess they're
I
smart
wanna
people like you.
I got lucky.
I
I'll
wanna
tell you
see if they
that.
just test each individual, like, what frequency do we cure, like, this pig or not pigment, but this whatever coating it is, and, like, it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know, I imagine the research that went into it,
Yeah.
took a
Yeah.
very, very long time.
Yeah. So it was like this isn't a proprietary information, but it's just boring. But I'll tell you, it's so our spectrum that we're allowed to, I mean, that we're capable of manipulating is between 2 and 10 micron wavelengths, and basically, I can adjust from that's my like 2 microns is my most intense wavelength, and 10 is my most relaxed. And
Mhm.
so I can span anywhere in there. So anything up to like 6.8 micron or whatever it is,
Mhm.
like I can dial it to that. So yes, there was a lot of trial and error with, all right, is this coding the perfect one, or is this wavelength the perfect for this one? Or
Mhm.
what happens if we go up to 7? Or what happens if we bring it down to like 5.8? Or, and just a bunch of trial and error over and over again.
Yeah.
When when you first figured it out, was the first thought in your mind was to do like Cerakure, or was it something else? You know what I mean?
Well, all right, so the technology's been around for about 20 years.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
the, the, like the catalytic IR has been in development for like 20 years. It wasn't until a few years ago that it was able to be controlled,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
because it was always either always on or always off. It was
Mhm.
on or off. That was it. There wasn't any because we use like pulses to be
Mhm.
able to change the wavelength. That's how we control it. Um, that was kind of picked up. I wasn't obvious. I was not the one that discovered that, but
Mhm.
I was the one that kind of like understood it enough to where I could advance what
Mhm.
education or what had been discovered already. And no, the first thought was like I'll be honest, like Cerakure didn't even really like pop up until I was actually I got the Nerf gun done. I was getting this done, and I
Mhm.
went I went and I saw I was hanging out with Dragon and was like, man, I was like, what do you do after this? And he's like, oh, I'll put it in the oven for 2 hours. And I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. I was like,
Mhm.
2 hours, ridiculous, man. Like he's like, oh, that's nothing. This other one's 5 days. And I was like, I can fix this. And so I
Like,
didn't,
Light
you
bulb.
better way.
yeah, I didn't know at the time that catalytic IR was going to be the solution. I I tested UV with it. That didn't do
Mhm.
anything. And then obviously they were currently using convection, so that isn't. I wasn't going to be able to advance that. So once I narrowed it down and got to catalytic IR, that's when we were able to like really have the big breakthrough. At
Mhm.
like my prediction was I was going to cut it in half. Before I ever did any, I thought, okay, it's two
Mhm.
hours. I could probably get it done in an hour. And then when that first piece came out in 20 minutes and it was 100% cured, I was like,
What the fuck?
yeah, I was
Right.
I'm like, man, I don't know if that's an accident or what, but and I
Let's
was
do
still,
it again.
yeah, exactly,
Let's
yeah.
see if we can do it again and again.
Well, then, yeah, and then it kept growing, with like the different series that Cerakote makes, and it just kept getting better every time. And um, we have obviously because of the industry I worked in, I had quite a few connections with like larger companies.
Mhm.
And when they found out like I had started my own, we all kept in touch, and they were like, "Hey, what would you think about making an oven for this application and for this, and so I got to, that was pretty cool, like to get to discuss like potential builds with like
Mhm.
these giant companies that I hope to be one day,
Mhm.
and um, some of those are still in the works, and you know, there's still more down the line I'm waiting to come in. And
Mhm.
but yeah, Cerakote, like I really wanted them because of how many people actually like are in like the gun finishing industry
Mhm.
that in my opinion are kind of stuck in this like stone age
Mhm.
process. And because all these other finishing industries that I've worked in are like robotics, they're automation where you got hang lines of moving your parts through, so people don't actually have to pick up and carry the parts from piece to piece. The
Mhm.
curing is super fast. It's I wanted to bring that to this other industry because there's, like I
Mhm.
was saying, Cerakote's like one of the top performing coatings that I've ever worked with, except for this one thing of it takes forever to cure. That's it.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, like I said, I want to be the leader in the automation part of the
Mhm.
gun industry.
Well, it
Mhm.
sounds
I
like you
believe
solved a
you
big
will.
problem.
Right.
Yeah, I believe you will,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
And it could be used for different applications. Let's say like spaceships. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
Well,
Mhm.
SpaceX actually uses Cerakote on all their heat shields because it's 1800 degrees.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
think I smell a Cerakure contract in the works.
Right.
no,
SpaceX.
no, no. I've already been there and I've already installed a robot there once.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
That's
yeah?
cool.
that NDA is already come and
I was
gone.
about to say
So
that.
yep. So the Starlink satellites, all those were coated with machines that I installed. So
Dang.
That's cool.
yep.
If it's good enough to be in
That's
space, it's good enough for my gun.
right.
Not Cerakure, not that.
Mhm.
When I worked for the robotics company, we
Mhm.
installed like some machines there. So
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Were you in Texas?
nope, the one in Redmond, Washington.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yep. hmm
Right on.
Where are
So
you
is
guys located? I guess I should have asked that to begin with. Where are y'all located?
go ahead,
Me and
Dennis.
me and Rob are in Maryland,
Yeah,
and then Josh
Maryland.
is in Texas.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So I was actually I was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is real close to where you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
are.
Mhm.
And then my business partner is just a little bit south of Dallas down there. So
Mhm.
All right on.
yep.
Yep. I'm in San
Yeah.
Antonio,
Yeah.
so not
Yeah.
too, yeah.
I,
Go ahead.
I want to move to Texas so
Yeah.
bad. I'm tired of Maryland.
The famous phrase that I've heard was, "I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as fast as I could."
Mhm.
This is pretty funny, man.
It,
But I
it,
wanted to
it,
ask.
it, it-
Go ahead.
no, I was about to say like even the crackheads in
Yeah.
Texas were nice, like and
Mhm.
polite. They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, how you doing?" I was like,
Mhm.
"I'm well. How about yourself?" Doing well. And he's just what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, did a crackhead not even ask me for $1? And he said, "Hey, how you doing?" You know.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like, big fan.
So
Um.
there's some rivalry between Jackie and myself, my business partner and myself, because we're pretty prideful of our barbecue, and so is he. So um, the dragon just texted me a picture of somebody eating crayons, so he's watching. Yeah, but no, the I'll fully admit Texas brisket is fantastic, and it's probably
Fire.
better than what we get here. But our pork, hands down, the best in the country. Our pork barbecue in North Carolina is the best.
Mhm.
So it is Tennessee and North Carolina. Because so me and my wife just went to South Carolina and we stopped in Tennessee and got barbecue. Their brisket was trash.
No, the
It was
barbecue.
trash,
I
but
don't even
the
count. I
pulled
don't count
pork was
Memphis.
so good.
No, I don't even count Memphis. That's some ass. That's shit. Memphis, Kansas City, all that can go on.
Dude, the competition when it comes to food is crazy.
Mhm.
Did you ever watch that the show on Netflix? It's called Barbecue Showdown.
Mm-mm. Nah.
It's like it's basically like they get the top people in the barbecue industry and they compete against each other for a prize.
Mhm.
And everybody is so freaking nice. Like usually in those types of shows, it's usually like cutthroat and like trying to sabotage other people. In this one, it's like me and my wife are watching this, and I'm like, why are they so nice to each other? It's like, oh, you need help? Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna come help you.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yep.
it's a very southern thing.
Yeah.
So
Southern hospitality
yeah. Oh
can
yeah.
confirm. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I wanted to ask you, so is there something about like the wider the wavelength that's better? Like is can you like
Yep.
kind of explain why that's better for carrying?
Yeah. So all right. The way that I explain it, like to customers when I'm trying to teach them so that they know how to make adjustments, is all right. A wavelength is going to penetrate coating the same amount. It's got energy to penetrate. So the more intense you make it, the more it's zigzag. The more
Okay.
relaxed, it's like this. So you're either penetrating coating straight in and going deep into the coating, or you're at an angle and penetrate shallow into the
Mm.
coating. So
Uh,
you're adjusting what depth you're hitting into the coating with the by adjusting the wavelength.
gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Is so like does it make a difference? So you know, some like some materials are more porous than others. Is there like is there a difference? You know, like I know you said you don't change the wavelength for the materials, just for the coating itself.
Yep, just the coating because we're only like I said, only attacking the moisture. So now the preparation for Cerakote is a little bit different. So if you're like, doing some carbon fiber, you don't want to media blast it with, 100 grade. I think they recommend like Scotch Brite to prep it to get it ready to adhere, like
Uh,
to get
Rough
it.
it up.
so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
more surface to cling to or something. I guess.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
because it's very hard to get Cerakote to stick to anything. Excuse me,
Mhm.
gloss.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
if you're doing
But
like a gloss with like a mat over top, it's very
mhm.
hard to get it to adhere.
Hmm.
Would sandblasting help with that?
Oh yeah, that's part of their procedure.
Hmm.
So yeah, they recommend 100 grit aluminum oxide to media blast with, and then acetone wipe.
Mm-hmm.
They
Get the
gas
grease
out.
off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's pretty cool, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So, um, we talked about it a little bit before we went live, but you have a history with robotics, and that's kind of, I guess, you said that's like kind of where you started,
Well, I started just
like
uh, yeah, like so. Yeah, that's what led me into the actual curing of coding
yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. My bad.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it was in the finishing industry. So it was a lot of like flatline robotics that would go back and forth and coat, have a lidar or
Mm-hmm.
reading barrier that would read the dimension of the part, and it would paint that and then keep going. Also, we did anatomical, which is what Cerakure offers. They offer an anatomical robot that will actually like go across and like a human would do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um, and then, my part of working there was after the coding was done. Now I worked on a few of the different, I mean, like a few different styles of machines, but for the most part, I handled like the oven part of it. So as it was coming out, wet, it would go through and flash off, and then it would come to my part of it, and it would go through and get cured, get um, like transported to wherever it needed to be picked up or stacked or go around and flipped and put on the like paint the backside of it, all of
Mhm.
that.
Hmm.
What I
Now,
would go ahead.
no, you can finish what you're gonna say, and then I'll.
I was gonna say there's like there's so many different opportunities and paths that like the Cerakote industry could go down, like with hang lines. So instead of like conveyors moving parts or fingers picking up and moving parts, you have just a chain that's pulling and it's just going through, getting painted as it goes.
Mhm.
Flashes, goes through two walls of elements that
Mhm.
just cure it, and as it comes out, just take off and put it in a box and ship it.
Well, you have
So
different. So this is kind of your idea of bringing the automation robotic side into your Cerakure company, sort of.
yeah, so I would really like for like I don't remember if we were live yet or not, but this is kind of um, this is what I want to be the introduction into the gun coating industry is just the technology part. Then later on, as that grows, we can get more into actual automation included into it. There's always going to still need to be the artist. So a lot of Cerakote guys consider them like they should consider themselves to be like artists because they're doing these very intricate paint jobs, doing a lot of detail work. And I mean, have you seen the competition that Cerakote's having right now? It's like the play on the March Madness. That like go look at some of those guys stuff like the Ace of Sprays. Like he's like I got a picture with him at Shot Show. Parabellum is in there, the one that did mine.
Mhm.
Um, they like some of the stuff they do is just like fantastic work. And of course, the dragon, because he's watching, he does good work
Mhm.
too, I guess. No,
Cerakote madness.
yeah. So they're having like a competition. It's like it started with 16, and then it's gonna, keep working its way down now.
Does,
So,
does the oven make a noise when it's on, or is it silent?
well, I mean, it's got an exhaust fan, but it's pretty
Oh, okay.
quiet. Yeah,
I
it's pretty
got you.
quiet. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, for the most part, it's just a box that sits there, and you don't think about it till the alarm goes off.
Mhm.
And in my UI, I'm able to program the alarm to be whatever I want.
Mhm.
So, depending on how much I like the guy that buys it, sometimes I might throw like an Easter egg in the alarm or something like that.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice, nice.
Yeah, you remember the movie? The first one I did. You remember the movie Euro Trip?
Yeah.
They, when his instead of saying "you got mail," it was like Mr. T. It's like mail, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
That's cool.
first one I tried to do was like parts, motherfucker. You know.
I thought it was going to be Scotty doesn't know. Remember
Yeah,
that part?
Yeah.
man,
Whenever she,
that's been so.
It's been
Um,
overdone.
yeah, it's like all over TikTok right now. Like the plus like the one actress, she just passed away or whatever. So that of course, like
Yes,
it's
you
got it
did.
kind of it kind of
Mhm.
got its resurgence right
Mm.
now.
Mhm.
That was a great movie though.
It
yeah,
was, man.
it was
It
hilarious.
was.
Me scoozy, me scoozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never make it along with that. Excuse me.
The robotics company I worked for was based in Italy. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
I heard that all the time.
Me scoozy. Did he take his pants off when you
Yeah.
heard that?
Man,
That's part of the
you,
NDA thing.
you said you said you said he like it was just one of them.
Okay. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's it. What was it? What was the name of that city they went to? It was like all run down and like a nickel was
Oh
like
yeah.
$2 in there.
Oh,
They bought a hotel.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I'm not offending Europe. You can guess.
He gave him a dime and like he retired or something, like the butler
Yeah,
retired.
he
Yeah.
slapped his boss. He was like, "Pop, I go start my own hotel."
Dude, that's awesome.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was a good movie. Which actress died?
the
Uh,
sister. The sister.
Oh
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
What
don't know her.
what'd
I
she
don't know
die
her.
from?
I'm
She
gonna.
had like liver, some kind of liver disease, liver failure of some kind.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah, she
She,
died.
she,
Michelle Trachtenberg. She
yeah.
died in February, February 26th.
She will always be remembered as the girl on Eurotrip.
Mhm.
Ooh, that one looks kind of.
There you go. That's more familiar.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
guess
man.
she got
Wow.
some work done since then.
Dude, I can't understand some of it. I don't understand like the kind of work people get done, and they don't even look like
Well,
themselves anymore.
so so I don't think she had work done. I think that was she had a liver transplant, and I think that
Mm.
that picture was either right before or
Mm-hmm.
maybe as it was obviously it rejected. So
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, yeah, just didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, and what was the one that
Shame, man.
the example of what you are talking about though was that girl that was in The Boys, whatever, Starlight, and
Yeah.
that showed like her in like season one, and then seeing
Hmm.
her off camera was like shocking to everybody. That was the same.
Yeah. She completely changed her face, and not for the
Another
better
one.
either.
Another one is Little Kim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
She looks
Yeah,
like an alien now.
Mm-hmm.
dude. Oh man,
man.
it's sad, but you know.
Just put them in your oven, dude. Maybe it could dissolve all the. How many could you fit in there? You said two.
Oh
Dissolve
man,
all the filler.
dude, yeah, dude. You know what that actually reminds me of? On the first what's the movie called? Oh, Batman Begins. Do you guys
Mhm.
remember they steal the machine from the boat, and it's one of his company's machines that basically you turn it on and it like evaporates all like the water. And they tried to use that in the movie, or they used it in the movie to they filled the water line with like that stuff that made people go crazy, and they evaporated all the water in
Yeah,
I forgot what the place is, but yeah, and it made everybody inhale it, and then they went crazy. Yeah, man.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
in Gotham.
Like
Mike
the
Yeah,
Ward.
scarecrow, right?
Yeah,
yep.
it was. They called it the Narrows. It was like where Arkham Asylum was or something.
Mhm.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah,
interesting technology.
yeah. Definitely. I mean, all right. So if I were to compare that movie science to like the real thing, it would be like uh, how quiet suppressors are in movies versus
Hmm.
real life. Because
Okay.
while that maybe could happen, like the speed at which they were able
Yeah,
to
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So
It would probably like so what. So let's just say a glass of water.
um, well,
Does it also would depend on the size of the machine, right? Like how many or no
no, it's because the like ours has like
the
a
light waves.
yeah we use like an aircraft insulation that's reflective inside the oven that so one element can cater to a certain amount of cubic footage. So that one element will always reflect and come back in and hit all 360 degrees of that cup of water. It
Mm.
doesn't matter. Like now, if the oven was giant and you had too small of a piece, then yeah, you would lose the effectiveness of it. But no, like the actual piece size or like how many you put like none of that matters to
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. What does it? Will it make a difference if like you didn't have those reflective the paneling on the inside?
Yeah, so some of the companies use kind of like a, I don't know why, but they use like a phantom black to absorb
Mhm.
some of the waves instead, and so they're not getting any like reflection back off. So they've got elements like completely surrounding the part, so they're all hitting kind of like a
Mm.
Dyson sphere,
Mhm.
and, and they so they don't worry about like the reflective coming back because like the waves will deteriorate over a certain distance, but they, you know, what we're in is like perfectly fine to hit and come all the way back across.
Mm.
But if you were to do like a black, you would absorb all of the waves, and you would only be carrying one half, like one side of the part.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So
So
you would have
there's
to flip it
one.
at some point.
Yeah.
There's one element inside the oven, and then it's just all reflected. Is that
Yes. So there's,
okay?
yep,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. If you've got the you can actually see the element on the side of the one of the pictures, and uh, I don't have. Yeah. So yeah.
You have it.
Well, I'm moving my
There's some other
mouse.
pictures on your
Yep. So
gallery.
yeah, gallery.
Mhm.
Yep. So yeah, that's the element there on
Yeah.
and
I click
yeah,
on
it just so that's 24 by 24, and that's projecting like in a fan pattern of the
that. Hmm.
waves out, so they're always going to hit different angles and come back in.
Kind of looks like a food dehydrator.
This is so
Yeah,
cool.
I mean technically, I guess it could be make some beef jerky.
Mhm.
So
Make beef jerky in 5 minutes, right?
hmm
Seriously, dude. Look at
yeah,
this. It's nice, man.
yeah. So one of the things we did as like for the applicators is the cart is the door on this. Um, so basically, you can like spray it, hang it on the cart, and then you only ever touch the parts once. There's not a chance to mess up while you're letting it flash. You're not
Mhm.
going to ding, like you're not going to like like be moving it a bunch of times, and it
Mhm.
Mhm.
flashes on that rack, and then you just enclose that into the oven, set the timer for 20 minutes, and you're done.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Dude, that's genius. So how does it? So for the bottom, well,
We got a steel bottom with reflection up. We got the reflective
Okay.
bottom also.
oh, this isn't showing like other parts. Like this is like.
Wait, what do you mean? Maybe
Oh
I.
wait. Oh, you know what? Never mind. So yeah, I was thinking about it
Okay.
wrong because the sides. So it's basically like the frame of the drawer or whatever. What did you call it?
Oh no, so the door is a rack. It's on four
Yeah.
wheels.
So it's the rack.
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have that now. So we don't have that bottom
Oh.
on there now. If you look at the one on the right, that's the more accurate
Mhm.
depiction of how we did that picture on the left is that's like 2 years old, and that
Okay.
was like our very first prototype. We just haven't. We
Yeah.
always forget to take pictures of the new rack.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
back in my 20s, I was a drummer, and I used to be a part of this Facebook group. It was called Nobody Takes Pictures of the Drummer, and um, the rack is the drummer because we
Mhm.
neglect all the time. Anytime we send it to customers, we always forget to take pictures of how the rack is assembled and how they'll use it. And the other, like, so you saw the mesh on top or the expanded
Mhm.
metal. That's completely like we can like fit that with whatever fixture the customer needs. So a lot of companies you like have their own fixtures made for their parts, and they'll have like special hooks to hang it. They just send us what they need, like to for that top to be, and we can fit that in. Pretty much the same price as what we do that one at. So,
So earlier you mentioned there's propane in this thing. What does the propane do in it?
so the propane is what's being evaporated, and that evaporation process is what's causing the IR waves. So
Oh, okay.
there's no flame, nothing like that. It's a completely flameless system. We preheat the element like the platinum to 350 degrees, and then you mist the gas on it. When the gas is misted, then that's when it evaporates and creates the same. All right, here's the worst part: the exact same way a catalytic converter on your car works.
Mhm.
So the Cerakure elements are going to be the new catalytic converter theft.
Now, please explain that for somebody like who's like to a 5-year-old.
Okay. Um, okay. So
I'm just saying because not all people, not all the viewers are car people, and you know what I mean. Like you have
right,
gun
right.
lovers from all different sides.
Okay. So a catalytic converter is full of platinum or has like platinum in it. So any gas that's left in your exhaust that doesn't get burned up in the exhaust comes through catalytic converter, then absorbs that those gas fumes and evaporates. Then they don't go out into the environment.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's preventing the fumes from escaping. That's what the emissions test and all of that make sure your catalytic converter works. This is pretty much
Mhm.
doing the same thing, but at the temperatures we're using and at the type of mesh and the exact pressure we're using, we're able to actually create IR waves that cure. So
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 do the crackheads steal the catalytic converters for the platinum or for the actual part?
for the platinum, yep, because precious metals are super
Yeah.
expensive.
yeah,
And trust me, I think about that every single time I have to order an element for the oven. So
would you consider mercury to be a precious metal? You know, it's
I don't
like
know.
toxic, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
I
know.
was helping clean out this old shed, and I found those old mercury switches.
Oh yeah,
That yeah,
yeah. Those are like so like it's like a thermal switch, right? Or like a temperature switch. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are really cool.
Do
Like
you,
same
do
as
you,
like fire sprinklers.
do you think? I think it's called palladium. Could that be used also?
Yeah, I don't know. I the only that I don't know. For the most part, I know that there it is a mix of metals in the
Mhm,
mesh. Platinum is the most prominent in there though,
mhm.
but I don't know. I mean, palladium's more expensive than platinum is, isn't it? I mean, that's like way
I
up
know
there.
gold is now too. I think.
very expensive.
Yeah, yeah. I would not try gold. No.
Do they use platinum because the heat it can take?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can definitely. It's got a very high melting
Yeah.
point, and then also it's that reaction. Like it's the like we were talking about like the molecular structure of coating. Well, the
Mhm,
molecular structure of either natural or LP gas
mhm,
combined with the platinum is what's able to get the produced effect that we
mhm.
want.
Hmm.
So
And what ends up happening to those fumes that
there is
it
no.
reclaims? You said the catalytic converter was
Yeah. So you're evaporating, so there is no fumes left
just
over.
yeah, okay.
Mhm,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's using like the IR waves are the byproduct of you getting rid of the fumes.
Mm.
So when propane comes in, you can smell it. Like if you accidentally crack like the gas grill open and you haven't
mhm,
lit it yet, you can smell the propane. This you can't smell anything because it's completely doing away with the propane altogether
Hmm.
and just creating it like almost like a clean. Like
mhm,
propane is considered a clean energy, but this is like cleaning the propane to where it's not,
mhm.
like not gas anymore.
Could you use water?
Water?
Yeah, instead of propane. The heat. Cause
No,
oh,
you need the chemicals in the
the
propane to,
chemical. I got you. I was just wondering. Okay.
yeah. If I can do water, man, then I would not survive my next flight. Like if I converted water into
Ser-
energy.
man,
It's
there's
like
a
the, it's
those
like the,
the
I'm
big
sorry.
those big conspiracies.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, have you? Is there like some kind of like alternative, without getting too far down the rabbit hole? Is there some kind of alternative to propane that I don't know if you're studying or like researching or
Well, natural gas is one that is about a third the price of propane, and I mean we use that just as frequently as we use propane. The
like helium or something or like
Helium
hydrogen?
is inflammable. Well,
Yeah, well, propane's like, I mean, propane is decently inexpensive, but and like I said, like natural is even more. It's just a matter of if the um you know it's like ease of access because I know like a lot of the East Coast is like already has like access to natural gas in their buildings, like in the manufacturing facilities and things like
hmm
that.
Hmm.
And further out west, the less access that we have the alternative, which is propane. To like propane is really the alternative to natural gas because it's a little bit more
hmm
expensive. And I
hmm
would prefer if every one of our ovens was natural gas, but so
Wow. So
yeah,
yeah, palladium is more rare. Has a higher demand. It's 15 times. Uh, yeah, 15
More
times
expensive.
more rare than platinum.
yeah,
Palladium.
yes. I don't want to see that bill.
Right.
It's also denser, and they are they obviously they're
I
using
understand.
catalytic converters and everything, but uh,
Platinum is pretty heavy, so I wonder how much palladium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to give you like, I know it's not what you asked, but you were saying it's pretty heavy. So our 20 like 2 foot by 2 foot element is about 60 pounds. So
Mm.
hmm.
yeah, and then it's like 2 inches thick. So
Hmm.
you know,
The guy who discovered a way to take water and separate the hydrogen and power engine. He ended up like dying before he could like
oh yeah.
make make it outside. Like he was gonna have a meeting with some investors, and he died before.
Oh,
No,
I
he
know.
died when he was eating, and he
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"They poisoned me."
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no, don't put Mike from Cerakure. Say my name's like, no,
We could change it.
no, no, it's,
Yeah, we're good. That's good.
no. Mhm.
But listen, we've had you for you've been on for about an hour or so.
Yeah.
Are you running out of time, or are you good?
Well, I mean,
Is there
I
anything
mean,
you
I
want to
pretty
touch
much
on
got. Well,
that we missed that we didn't ask you about?
not, not really. I mean, everything's. I felt like I got to talk a lot more than what I thought I would be able to because I
Mhm.
thought
Yeah.
we'd be kind of like talk like trying to steer into guns to keep your audience because I know your audience doesn't really give a shit about science part of it or
Hey,
I mean maybe they do, I don't know, maybe.
we do. So
Yeah,
that
You're
I
giving our
yeah,
wait.
audience too much credit.
no, I'm just saying like there's definitely a point where the
Mhm.
eyes kind of glaze over when I'm talking. I know that that's a
Mhm.
I have that fault, but I don't know. I got to say everything I wanted to say about the oven.
Mhm.
I'm pretty, like I
Yeah.
I
said,
think
I'm.
Yeah, we're using this podcast as a educational
Mhm.
purposes. It's
Hmm.
mainly for us. We're just like we're gonna get educated, and people that watch us will get educated too.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's awesome because um, not a lot of people obviously not a lot of people know that this technology is.
I didn't. I sure
yeah,
didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah. So the more, I mean, we you know not I won't say. I mean, we've struggled to
Mhm.
convince people, I guess,
Mhm.
because let's be real here. It does sound like I'm selling a fantasy when I'm like, oh, hey, we can cut your time
Mhm.
from 2 hours to 20 minutes. Oh, and it's 1/10 the cost of what you're, to
Mhm.
operate than what you're currently spending.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
mean, it sounds too good to be true, and
Mhm.
like like most people, if something sounds too good to be true. So
Mm.
that's the main reason we went to SHOT Show and we actually performed live demos
Mm-hmm.
there, so people could actually see and like hold the
Yeah.
part after 20 minutes and say, okay, yep, it's
That's cool.
that
I-
was yeah.
Is there another kind of like practical like exercise you can do, but like besides like watching them, like curing it in front of them? Is there another exercise you can do?
Um, I mean, well, I don't know. One thing I want to do is I want to go for a Guinness World Record. So, because if I can, like, for two reasons, like, well, three reasons really. One, I just always wanted that because I was born in the '80s,
Yeah.
and that was like the coolest shit to me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
And
they had it
like,
on TV.
yep, yep. Number two is it would kind of lead some credit or lend some credibility to they're verifying that it's cured. We're saying that it's cured and it cured
Oh,
in this amount of time.
yeah.
And then three, just the publicity stunt of it, like
Yeah.
probably like, live stream it or whatever.
If we
So,
had a product that we developed that had a world record, that'd be the first thing you see on the website.
Yeah.
You just put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would pay to have the plaque.
Have
Congratulations,
it right on the
you are the
back.
proud new owner of a Guinness World Record certified product.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
thinking the oven. I don't know if it's possible. Could it be used for like sterilization of like instruments for like medical use and everything?
Oh yeah.
I know.
So, yep. Not the sterilization, not that, but the
Mhm,
coating, the protective coating that goes on medical equipment.
mhm,
Absolutely. And because we don't affect the substrate, whatever, like soft plastics that they would use,
mhm,
or, um, like they could put a bunch in at the same time,
mhm.
coat it in the protective coating that I can't say
Yeah.
the name of right now. But
Mhm,
yes, that absolutely is a use for the oven.
mhm.
Yeah, I would have never thought of that, Rob.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought he would have come up with it. No,
It's because
I've
he's
seen
bald.
I've seen the previous podcast.
Even a broke watch is right 2 times a day, right?
So, is there like a market for this stuff, like for in computers and like circuit boards and stuff
Yep.
like that? Or
So Cerakote makes a dielectric.
Hmm.
And did I lose you on that one, or you know what dielectric? So dielectric is the protective coating that doesn't allow arcing between a positive and a negative.
Mhm.
So
so
it's
like the buses on a circuit board don't like make.
exactly. Yep. Yep. So it's used in a lot of EV vehicle batteries. Dielectric will always have a dielectric barrier between the batteries and stuff. So
Mhm.
yes, yep. A lot of circuitry uses dielectric to prevent voltage from arcing.
On
Yeah.
circuit boards too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've seen like all this on the circuit boards. They're like all those like copper or gold. The buses are like so close to each other,
Mhm.
So that's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
There's like
I
a lot of applications for this stuff, man. I
yeah.
think
Crazy.
it's
I
because
I always
yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I always say like if you take a microchip or a board like that, it's like you take a city and you put it in that little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So this is our controller having developed. It's like all of our like when I said that ours costs absolutely nothing to operate, electricity wise, we're like $60 a year, and
Mhm.
it's because we're
Okay.
actually after we heat the element up, then our all of our electricity drops to 5 volt 3 amp. So it's like charging your phone for the rest
Yeah.
of
Get
the day.
stock in those chips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
What's the is there I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, the like what kind of coating that you said, the dielectric coating on a circuit
Yep.
board, like what material it is and what the like wavelength or sorry, what frequency you use to cure it at?
So yes, I do know the frequency, and two,
You cannot say it.
yes, because there's several companies that make dielectric, and every one of them is proprietary to where I can't even know what's in it. It's just like all my testing. I can't look at a data sheet. All my testing is trial and error when it comes to
So
that.
I assume you've already like developed your own proprietary like a coding, or are you in? Do
I,
you do stuff like that with circuit boards or no?
with circuit boards, no.
Oh,
I mean, with dielectric, I've got a recipe for dielectric.
oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, if you want a really cool coating to look up the HIR by Cerakure. It's night vision camo. Can't be seen with night vision.
That's
And
cool.
That's genius.
yeah, and that was like one of the coolest tests I've ever done because I wasn't sure how that was going to actually react because if it blocks IR and our oven is IR, like what
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea if I was going to be able to cure it or not. So I watched it with my temperature gun and it climbed, and the minute it cross linked, it just fell straight off, like dropped like 100 degrees
Hmm.
because it immediately started blocking all of my IR waves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Let me see,
Yep.
70. I want to see if I can find it. But is it?
So
This is the this material here,
Uh,
Gen
I'm
2
sorry.
flat dark earth. Is this thing right here? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah. The expert in this is Crooked Creek. Um, that guy has mastered the art of spraying the HIR, and he's got a ton of videos showing like the results and stuff like that. Like it was
What did you say his
very
name?
very Crooked Creek Arms, I believe. Let me hold on. He, I'm friends with him on Instagram. Um, it is, yep, Crooked Creek Arms on Instagram. Yeah,
Crooked.
Crooked. Yep. Sorry.
No, you're
You
good.
know, this southern accent. You know.
You think I would know by now? I moved here in 2019.
No.
uh, Crooked Creek Arms.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Is this the right one?
Yes, that's him.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So he,
I'm gonna follow too.
yeah, he's kind of the leader in NIR. So he did a lot of research early on with it.
Mm. That's so cool. You guys
Right.
you guys being at like the forefront of this like breakthrough
Mm-hmm.
in
Well,
Cerakure, man.
in 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 the curing, yeah, I definitely missed out on um, the forefront of actual Cerakote. Like if I would have, if it would have aligned when I was first starting with catalytic IR, like playing with that when I got with them, we'd be like so much further advanced than what we are now. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as like the forefront of the growth of Cerakote and moving into other industries outside of the gun industry, then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's really cool to kind of witness.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty excited for you and your company, and like
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
you guys got like I feel like you guys are you're at the threshold of like something big, you know.
Greatness.
Well,
I hope so,
seriously.
man. It's definitely like so. I really like being honest. Like I'm not a very patient person at all, and that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of why like I wanted to make a fast oven because I suck. I'm like the least patient person I know. I'm awful at painting. I'll tell you right now. Like I am like Dragon can tell you I am like awful. I'll spray something and then immediately I'll be like all right, that should be dry by now. God dang it,
Mm-hmm.
it's ruined.
Hmm.
But so I made an oven where I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just throw it in, go outside, come back in, and it's done.
Hey,
So
you solved a big problem. So
Right? What'd you
for
say?
your for
5,
yourself,
7 minutes?
and other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm hoping to get a lot of these companies, able to produce more, not have to wait over like or come in on a Saturday to put parts in the oven or take parts out of the oven, or that's the big thing is like reducing kind of the workload for some of these companies and kind of also like increasing the profitability
Yeah, saving them
because
money.
yeah, that's kind of
It's a big thing nowadays, saving money from.
yeah,
Seriously.
it's
Time and money
Yeah,
yeah,
and labor. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
right, yeah, because I mean you're thinking about you're putting out 1,000 parts, say you put out 1,000 parts a week, like the amount of space you have to take up letting that air dry or
Mhm.
Hmm.
that I mean reduce the footprint. And I mean, some of the very positive benefits that we didn't think about in the beginning was the fact that this is green energy.
Hmm.
Using propane as green energy, we've
Hmm.
cut down a ton of like uh, the energy hogs of these other ovens, like how much is being consumed. Or like, yeah, I mean, it's like any positive effect that we could have. I'm not like an environmental guy or whatever, but any like positive effect that we could have is something that we can, you know, put on, put on our little badge.
Yeah,
Hmm.
No.
So
that's right. And you guys are hitting all the marks, man. Everybody's happy.
yeah,
So that's
that's what
pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm hoping for.
And even the
Well,
green weenies are happy.
if anybody's looking for a firearm to get Cerakoted, you could go to cockedfirearms.com
Oh
and
yeah,
use
I
the
know.
code 2AB and you get
Mhm.
10% off. And then if you want a holster for that weapon, you could go to goliathdefense.com and use the code 2AB
Right.
and you get 10% off again, everybody.
Don't forget
And
about the apparel from American Asshole.
Yeah, and the apparel from americanasshole.com.
Hmm.
hey, you need to get on Kyle over there because he came and interviewed us at Shot Show. He was
Yeah.
the one YouTuber we had come interview us, and he never released it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Come
know.
on, Kyle.
Call
Get it
them out.
together.
Call them
I,
out.
Yeah, I'm about. I bet. I mean, seeing my face on there was the only reason I subscribed. So I'm about to unsubscribe if he ain't gonna release it.
For real.
I'll text them after this.
Yeah.
Why are
No,
you
he's a good.
holding out?
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I think he's
Yeah, he is.
probably how you learned about me. I think because we've
I
been.
just I saw you on TikTok,
Oh,
and
okay.
then it was either that or on Instagram, and I was like, and it was after I started following Casey from Warpaint.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You started popping up on my Instagram or on the
Oh, okay.
podcast Instagram, and then I was like, hey, look, was another guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, okay,
Yeah,
that's
man.
cool. So, yeah, I had followed, um, Kyle like leading into Shot Show, trying to like kind of schedule some people coming by, and he was one of the few that actually not a customer, but one of the few like appointments we had made to interview and stuff that came by and actually followed through with it. So I was just giving him shit. I give him probably he's a good dude. He came
yeah,
through and
He is.
actually,
yeah.
yeah,
Anything like anytime I have a question for him, I text him and he gives me a call. What's up, dude?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are probably not going to do this for legal reasons, but
Mhm.
I was telling you, like, I'll call Dragon and be like, I got this idea. And he's like, oh God. So I had this idea of buying everybody's oven. When they buy ours, we'll give them, $2,500 off of our oven so
Mhm.
that they can, and they just ship us theirs and then we can blow it up with Tannerite.
Mhm.
And, and I, and I text that to Kyle and was like, hey man, you want to like video this or something? He's like, I want to blow it up. So, but yeah, I think I've been talked out of it. I think
That's not.
for,
I'll
for
talk you
sake,
back into it.
Right.
yeah,
Do it.
yeah, 'cause-
Yeah.
yeah,
Videotape it.
yeah. I want to because a lot of these guys are using like an electric smoker. They're using like they're
Really?
yeah like they'll so like now some of the high production ones they'll go buy like a very expensive like or very large like powder coat oven, and that's what they'll use to cure the Cerakote.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, so those I don't expect people to actually ship to me. But if somebody ships a $200 smoker and I take $2,500 off of the oven, that would be yeah, that would be fine with me because I want the views of blowing it up,
Yeah.
and or throwing it. What are those things where it's like the gears that go together and it just chews anything up you throw in it? Like I can watch those videos all day
Oh,
long.
Oh yeah.
at the
Yeah,
junkyard.
Yeah.
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 Like I go buy
It's like
one of those just to throw these ovens in and
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. And you could say, "Go green, get my
Yep.
oven."
Yeah.
I have it.
Maybe the libs will start buying guns at that point too.
Right.
Yeah, and we're supposed to have some of them on. There's
There
a
they
socialist group that are they're pro 2A
really.
or liberal or something like that. Yeah, one of the guys who wasn't able to make it on tonight, but the other gentleman in our podcast, Austin, he
Mhm.
had he was gonna get uh, a a group. What's it called? Socialist Guns for America or something like that. I forget what
Mm.
it's called.
I
But
can't
yeah,
remember.
So
yeah,
they free?
It's
Are they free?
I
Is it?
have no idea. They're based out of Maryland,
Oh,
and they basically attract the alphabet people to train in guns, which is,
oh,
I don't.
yeah.
It
That's
is what it
fantastic.
is. The more
The more,
training, the better.
yeah, the more
Except they're
education.
socialists. That's the problem. They
yeah.
don't
Now that
know.
So
just means that only like each person only pays what like a nickel per gun. Then because
mm,
they all chip in a nickel. Is that how that works? Or
yeah, right.
I
But they
don't.
all share one gun.
Yeah,
Or
but
So,
you have a
no,
gun
I
that
was
can
just
get changed to different calibers.
but in all seriousness,
yeah.
Transmission specialist.
but yeah, but in all
So
seriousness, that's actually like really good that there
Plan,
is that
design.
education available.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
for
mhm.
yeah for and that other groups are and maybe that'll create some common ground. Maybe
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
you know,
The
Well,
only thing. So yeah, go ahead.
they have like this montage on YouTube, and it's basically like, yeah, I didn't feel safe on how the country was going, aka Trump winning the first time.
Mm.
So, because I'm from the alphabet community, so I'm gonna learn, which is great. If you don't feel safe, you know what I mean, and you want to train so you could be better at protecting yourself, by all
Yeah,
means,
because
go ahead.
Trump got in there not because of spiking crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So they had so you guys remember Antifa.
Mhm.
I don't hear much about them these days, but they were pretty well organized when they were rioting and stuff. And uh, that's that kind of people that like are now becoming turned on to the Second Amendment. Like they're actually becoming pro gun now and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Now, I mean, you can have whatever opinion you wish, but that kind of behavior is like I don't know what those people stood for and what they were rioting about, and I'd rather not have them be that organized with firearms because
But
they
But
were
it's like that's kind of a I mean it's like
Double-edged sword.
yeah because I mean that's the
they
reason that the
can
Second Amendment is there is
yeah,
to
Hmm. Yeah.
really
just
it's for
not what
everybody.
they stood, just not what they stood for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they
I
have the
just
right
kind
to
of
say what they say. So,
my I guess
You
my
love Antifa, don't you? You're a fascist. I knew it.
Who
yeah.
Demetrius?
So
yeah.
my
Yeah,
He did come from communist Albania.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
seed was planted and it slowly grew. But anyway, I'm kidding. But yeah. So if there's nothing else, you
Yeah.
guys good? Yeah, good. Mike,
Yeah, man.
dude, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
man.
was a
Yeah.
lot of fun and very
Educational.
yes.
Yeah. Well, if you guys need anything, I mean, Dimitri, you got my number.
Yes, sir.
And I answer any questions you have outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you guys were fantastic. I'll continue to interact on all the social medias and
Yep. Likewise.
Yeah.
keep watching some of the like the next podcast when they come up. I'll
Mm-hmm.
make sure I
Yeah.
tune
Oh,
into
yeah.
that.
You're welcome anytime you want to come back, man. Just let
Yeah.
us know.
Let me know.
Yeah, next time, wear something a little sexy or something. I don't know.
Now this is a casual.
Right.
Yeah,
We keep it. Rob had one suit and he don't know where it went.
Mm-hmm.
myself, like the last day of SHOT Show, my sales director's there in basketball shorts and Crocs. I'm like, man, it's like, bro. There's a picture of him.
Show
Yeah, it's on
on your Instagram.
I think so. Of him, he's standing in front of the ATF booth in his basketball shorts and Crocs.
Let me see if I can find it.
Or I can text it to Dimitri real quick. I got it. Oh wait, well, yeah, it's him and so there's Brian and Dragon. It's the one. You can see the oven. It's at SHOT Show.
Oh. Never fight a man in Crocs he doesn't plan on running.
Yep, that's it. That's him.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to. You can't see the
Crocs.
Crocs because our
Yeah.
videos, but they're blue Crocs. Or the Crocs Cerakure.
No. No.
He's really a teddy bear. But dude, that's so cool, man. What an honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to be there, man. That's awesome.
Yep. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yep.
sir, yeah.
All
But
right,
thanks for
everybody.
being here. God bless you. Go follow Cerakure on Instagram, TikTok, and you can go to cerakure.com to find all the amazing products.
Not his fucking oven.
Tier. Yeah, man. Exactly.
Save
Just
a
buy-
lot
just
of
buy-
time and money.
Right. Time
buy
and
it.
money.
Yep.
You got the outro all queued
Oh
up.
God, no!
Sure.
I gotta get there. I
Right,
forgot.
yeah.
This is usually your job.
You're freaking up, Dimitri.
It is, yeah.
Well, right now it's not. There we go. Hold on. The outro. The new outro.
Yeah.
Once you get into that, you start getting into a situation, the slippery slope, where all of a sudden you're going to really violate the Second Amendment. I don't want to do anything to violate the Second Amendment. To me, the Second Amendment is very important. I love this country. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me know this one.
Go ahead. Keep going.